Welcome to our first lesson in Algebra 1. We're going to be starting in section 1.2, Order of Operations. Hopefully, again, this is kind of like a review for you guys. Get off to a good start and kind of understand this a little bit. So we're going to start with simplifying powers. And again, you're going to see that the notes that I sent to you through Google Classroom, I'm going to be following very closely with what's on your sheet to what we do up here. So again, you want to make sure you take the notes, copy everything down, and understand what's going on here. So we're going to talk about powers first. Please understand that the use of powers or exponents is just another way of writing multiplication. When we see something like 4 to the third power, that's an exponent of 3, the base is 4. This does not mean 4 times 3. Please do not put 12. You'll start doing, if you want to do that, wait till calculus. That's when we start taking powers, multiplying by coefficients, and doing derivatives like that, but that's way, way far down the line for you. Please do not say 4 to the third power is 12. Under here, I want you to rewrite with multiplication. What this actually means is 4 times 4 times 4. So as you know, 4 times 4 is already 16. You might not know what 16 times 4 is. Hopefully you start memorizing that a little bit more we use powers. Right now we're just introducing them. But this is how it would be set up if we're multiplying. Now, you can use your calculator to evaluate this. On your calculator, the red ones that you got from in your packet, you can type in 4. Then there's a caret button, okay? Right there, that little upside down triangle sort of thing. That signifies that you want to make an exponent, and then you type 3, so it should look like this. 4 caret 3, hit equals, and we get a number of 64. The reason why I want you to write this out isn't necessary for this lesson now. This will come into play later on. In a couple months, when we start getting to more complex things that you have to write. You have to write them out multiplication-wise. So if we want 5 to the 4th, this is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So if you plug it in your calculator, it'd be 5 caret 4. Kind of like this. This is how it's going to read in your calculator. And when you plug it in, that comes out to 625. So it's important to have a calculator when we're doing exponents, because you can see the numbers get big really, really fast. Now we can also include decimals. We have 6.3 to the 5th power. So we have to write 6.3 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it's 6.3 caret 5. I plug it into my calculator. And we get 9,924.37 if we round. All right. Typically when we're using decimals, you at least want to, if it's to the 10th, you at least keep it to the 10th. I went to the 100th place. Keep them as decimals. Now number 4, this is as a fraction, 2/3 to the 6th power. Now, you're going to see that fraction automatically go, I hate fractions. But let's rewrite this and see what it really is. 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Now, if you're given a problem in fractions, I would expect that you give me an answer in fractions. There's a way to do it on the calculator, but I'm going to make it a little bit easier. When we multiply fractions, if we cannot reduce anything, what do? We multiply all the tops. So this is the same, we could say it's 2 to the 6th on top. we plug 2 to the 6th power in. I believe it's 128, or no, 64. 2 to the 6th power is 64. That's our top number. Now we take 3 to the 6th power on the bottom. I don't know that one by hand. 729. So there's our answer there. 64 over 729. Now, if we break it down and look at it, the numbers on top, do that individually, and the numbers on the bottom, it makes it a little bit easier. So that's how we rewrite powers, to make it a little bit easier for us to understand. Now we're going to jump into order of operations. Now, hopefully you remember your order of operations. Hopefully you can start filling in your notes right now. First order of operation. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. First, do whatever in parentheses first. Okay? Do whatever in parentheses first. So, if you have 2 sets of parentheses, work from the inside out. Sometimes you'll see parentheses and brackets. Work from the inside out. The second one, excuse. We want to do our exponents next. 3, my dear, multiply and divide. This step goes together, because the division is a form of multiplication in algebra. They're just opposites. And the last one is add and subtract. Again, add and subtract are the same thing. Subtraction is just adding opposites, going the other way. So, looking at some of the examples that I have on the sheet. We have 6 minus 2 in parentheses, squared, divided by 4. Now, we can put this in our calculator and work it out, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But if not, we go right down our checklist. Do we have any parentheses? Yes. So let's do what's in parentheses. 6 minus 2 is 4. We now have 4 squared divided by 4. Now, we don't have any more parentheses. Do we have any exponents? Yes. We have 4 to the 2nd power. 4 squared is 16. And our last step, 16 divided by 4 is 4. So the answer for the first one is plain old 4, that whole long mess. Now, if we want to plug this in our calculator, plug it in exactly how it looks. You need to use parentheses. Parentheses, 6 minus 2. Close your parentheses. Now again, that's an exponent. Caret 2. And then divided by 4. There's what I plugged in my calculator. Plugged it in just the way it looks on the paper. I hit equals, and I get the same number of 4. Okay. So you can use your calculator to calculate these. Number 2. We have 2 to the 4th minus 1 all over 5. Now, with this problem, if we're looking at this long bar right here, that means division. However, everything on top is inside an invisible set of parentheses. We don't show them. No mathematician is going to write those out. But we have to understand, we need to solve this part first, solve the bottom part second, and then our last thing is to reduce or divide. So if we look here, we're not even looking at the bottom. We have what's in parentheses, but inside the parentheses we have an exponent. 2 to the fourth power. 2 to the fourth power is 16 minus 1, all over 5. Now, we still have to do the 16 minus 1 first. 16 minus 1 is 15. And now it's over 5. Now, our last step, now we can go ahead and work that out. 15 over 5 is plain old 3. And we end up with that answer. So the next couple problems we will work on in class. Again, please take the notes, take a picture, submit it through Google Classroom, and I'll see you next time.